Hi guys, I have a really great recipe for you today. It's super seasonal. It's my pumpkin pie muffins. So it's like a twist or combination of pumpkin pie and a cupcake. It's like they got together and had a muffin baby. It's super seasonal because it's got pumpkin pie flavors of cinnamon and nutmeg and cloves and obviously pumpkin. So it's wonderful. I know you're gonna love it, and it's healthy too, and it's easy too. So I'm gonna show you how to make it. You need 2 bowls, 1 whisk, a muffin pan, and you call it a day. So in the first bowl, so we're gonna build in this one big bowl, and then we're gonna add to it. So I've got 1.5 cups of flour. This is my dry ingredient bowl. And then to that, I've got a teaspoon of cinnamon, teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And that goes in with my all-purpose flour. By the way, if you want to make this gluten-free, you can use your favorite gluten-free baking mix. Don't change anything else, and that works as well. So that's it. That's the big bowl with the dry ingredients, and I'm going to make a well in the center. If you've ever seen recipes that tell you to make a little well in the center, it basically just means like a little indent so you have a place to put your wet ingredients, which I'm going to get together now in here. Even though it starts with 1 cup of sugar, which is a dry ingredient, I want it to dissolve a little bit. So I have 1 cup of sugar, and here's a couple, I'm gonna give you some tips. So I am using pumpkin pie filling, the canned pumpkin pie filling, and not just pureed pumpkin. And that's where I got the idea for a pumpkin pie muffin. You can use pumpkin puree, absolutely, and you would just add a little bit more cinnamon. I add 1 teaspoon, so another 1/2 teaspoon, and 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. This will all be in my blog, where the recipe will live, so you don't have to write it down. So that would be the one thing, and then you would add a little bit more sugar because there's sugar in pumpkin pie filling. So I did 1 cup, you would add 1.5 cups. That's really the only change, and again, it'll be on the recipe on my blog. So I've got 1 cup of the pumpkin pie filling, which already smells like pumpkin pie spice because it's got the spices in there, plus the sweetness, and then the pumpkin puree. So I bought a big can of this so I can make a couple things with it. And I'm starting with these muffins, and then I'll probably do some kind of a bar or a pie. And then I've got 1/2 cup of applesauce. So this replaces a lot of the fat and adds another ingredient of autumn, which is apples, which I love. So it's doing double duty here, adding flavor and moisture, so I can cut back on some of the fat. Because I want to be able to serve these for breakfast and not feel like I'm serving cupcakes. Then I've got 2 eggs. Get those right in there. And then I've got 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. You can use your favorite there. You could also use melted butter, but for right now, these are dairy-free. And if you want to keep it dairy-free, then use the vegetable oil. And then I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And I don't measure because I love vanilla, so I can't overdo it there. And that's it for the wet ingredients. So I'm just going to give this a quick whisk to get the eggs broken up and to get that sugar starting to dissolve into the pumpkin puree and the applesauce, and that's it. So that's already mixed. Yay, it's a super pretty pumpkin-y color, and I can smell autumn in my kitchen. So now the wet ingredients go into the dry ingredients in that little indent that I made, and we're not going to use a whisk anymore because we don't want to overwork the flour and have it be tough. So we're just going to grab a spatula. If you have a letter, if you have your initial of your first name on yours, use that one. This was a gift from one of my really good friends, and I love it. It's loved, very well loved, and got some marks on it of my baking experiences. Okay, so this just gets folded together until it's almost smooth, but small lumps are okay. So don't worry about small lumps, because we're gonna add some chocolate chips and we'll get rid of the lumps then, and then you also don't wanna overmix the batter. Okay, so there's this beautiful pumpkin pie batter. Okay, and now I've got 2/3 cup of regular sized chocolate chips. You could use the mini chips too, and if you do, I use less when I use mini chips because I feel like they kind of get into the batter all over, so I don't need as many. I don't need a whole 2/3 cup. I think 1/2 cup of the mini chips would be fine. And then I have extra on the side to sprinkle on top. So there, this is all beautifully blended. How quick and easy was that? No churning butter, no mixing butter and sugar together till they're light and fluffy. This is just 2 bowls, a couple of whisks, or you can, I didn't need to dirty 2 whisks. Okay, so this batter's ready. Now, I have a baking muffin pan that I lined with paper liners. You can also use cooking spray. And I like to use an ice cream scoop or a cookie scoop when I'm putting batter into a muffin pan. Just, it makes it a lot less messy. So ice cream scoop goes in. They all get about 3/4 of the way full to give them room to rise up in the oven. And I'm gonna finish filling the pan. Okay, this is the perfect amount of batter for 12 regular size muffins. You could also do about 36 mini muffins too. Those are wonderful. And I mentioned that I like to save some chocolate chips for sprinkling over the top. I'm gonna do that. Hit these up with some chocolate chips. Okay, great. These are gonna be so amazing. So the oven's preheated to 350 degrees. I'm gonna get these in. I'm gonna start checking them at about 18 minutes. It could be 18, it could be 20, it could be 22, but I'm gonna start checking on the early side to make sure that they are still moist and wonderful. So I will show you what that looks like when they come out of the oven. Here they are. It took 20 minutes in the oven, and then I used a wooden pick to check them, and it came out with little moist bits on it, so I know they are ready. They look gorgeous, yum. So I'm gonna let them cool in the pan for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to transfer the muffins to a wire rack, this wire rack, to cool completely, and if I can wait that long, and I'll show you what they look like. Oh my gosh, these are so warm. I wish you could smell the aroma in here of the cinnamon and the cloves and the nutmeg. It's just heartwarming, just the aroma. So I'll give them a couple more minutes of cooling, and then I get to dig in. These are ready to serve, so I'm gonna get to it, and I hope you try them. I mean, it's like what muffin dreams are made of, with these wonderful fall flavors. It's like a muffin hug. They make you feel all warm and cozy from the inside out. They're super easy, ultra healthy. I know they're gonna become a family favorite. So I hope you try them. Let me know if you do. Leave a comment or two, I love those. And enjoy, and I'll see you next time.